I'm Leon Thomas. Welcome to another episode of New Biz Buzz. On New Biz Buzz, we talk to owners of businesses that are new, unique, and do something to help society. And today, we're going to be talking to Ryan Dupee, who has a new podcast that's going to help society. I'm Leon Thomas. You're watching New Biz Buzz. Here we go. I'm Leon Thomas. You're watching New Biz Buzz. It's great to have you here. Thanks for watching. Today on New Biz Buzz, we have a great guest. I want to introduce you to Ryan Dupee. How are you doing, Ryan? How's everything?
Doing very well. Thank you for having me. It's great to see you again.
It's great to see you as well. So I want to make sure that our audience understands how we met each other, because I said it's good to see you. You said it's good to see you again. Let's let everyone know. So I'm thinking back in 2005, 6, 7, somewhere like that.
That is.
Yeah, my family and I were searching for a church in Baltimore. We were going through transitioning from one church to another, and we came to Arlington Baptist. Arlington Baptist, and you were the pastor.
That is right.
Pastor at Arlington Baptist, and heard you preach a couple of times and got a chance to meet with you. And I said, this is where I think we should go to church. And we did. So yeah, you were my pastor for a while. How about that?
Yeah, I know. And it was just such a great journey for us. And we loved the people there in Baltimore. I mean, the Lord had different things for us eventually to move on to. But man, I remember those conversations, Leon, and they were fantastic for us. And especially for me, to gain somebody who was a brother that exactly knew where I was at that time. And man, you helped me so much and sharpened me. And I appreciate the distant friendship that we've been able to enjoy.
Yeah, thank you for saying that, and I appreciate you now, but also then, because we were going through a lot of transition from one church to another, but also there was a lot happening in my professional life, and a lot of things going on, and I was able to talk with you about those things. So I so much appreciate you being my pastor. And so you left Arlington Baptist because God had other things for you to do. And we've stayed in touch with each other thanks to social media, right?
Exactly.
Can you imagine if we would write letters now? Huh? What do you think? Dear Ryan, how you doing? I am fine.
Yeah, and I might get to it 3 or 4 weeks later and say, hey, I need to write this letter.
Yeah. And so I've been able to follow some with your children, Connor, Gracie, and Tanner. Tell us what's going on, whatever you want to reveal about them and your wife. Bring us up to speed there.
Well, Christy and I are about to celebrate our 27th year of marriage. We are super excited about that. We are in the empty nesting stage of our life, and we are super excited about that. Also, it has its ups and downs, just like any moments in our life. But we're just, I say, in our lives, we're not reconnecting. We made it an intentional effort to stay connected, even with children, and so we're just going along. Christy's an English teacher, and we both work at the same place. Hardly talk to each other during the day. And Connor, Gracie, and Tanner are doing fantastic. Connor lives in the Clearwater area. Gracie is in college in Ohio, and Tanner is serving our country in the United States Army. So all three of them seem to be doing well, and we navigate life together. And I'm so thankful for not just being their parent, but their incredible friendship now.
That is great to hear. Please be sure to give them my regards, and also from my wife Macy Rhea, let them know that we think about y'all often,
I
and
will do
it's
that.
glad to hear that you're doing so well. And looked on Facebook a little bit ago, and I see that you have earned your doctorate's degree.
That is correct. Yeah, about
Yeah.
4.5 years ago, I was doing all kinds of credits for maintaining my accreditation status or my certification for the high school that I worked at. So I just decided to do a doctorate, and it's a doctorate in educational leadership, and an organizational leadership, actually. And I enjoyed every moment of it. Did a ton of reading, did a ton of writing, and it became like my pastime for the last 4 years. So I'm very thankful that I completed it in August of 2021, and even got to March and December. And if you go to my Facebook page, you'll see a picture there of graduation right there. And it was a fantastic moment that I got to celebrate with my family.
Yeah. Yeah. How cool is that? Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations to you,
Mhm.
Dr. Dupee.
That's right.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
Yes.
thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, that is great.
Mhm,
What an accomplishment. And
mhm,
so a few weeks ago, I'm scrolling through again through Facebook, keeping up with everyone as much as I can.
mhm.
And I see an announcement about your podcast.
Yeah.
Your podcast. Tell us about your podcast and what led to you doing it and when it's going to roll out. Go ahead, fill us
Yeah,
in.
yeah, I'm super excited about this reality. We all try to find, I would say that it would be a talent or a gifting in our lives. But one of the things that I've found in my life that I've always gravitated towards is helping people in their relationships, helping people navigate tough relationships or arguments or situations that people want to get through, but sometimes they don't exactly know how to steer through the complications of personalities. And so, I leaned into people that were close to me and said, "Hey, I'm thinking about starting a YouTube channel or something like that." And eventually, it came down to let me start a podcast. And I'm super excited about the "You Bother Me" podcast, and it is going to talk about. The podcast talks about solving conflict because we need each other. And that is the main theme, to understand that you are valuable, you are unique, and I am valuable, I am unique. And even though we might have different ideas, different ideals, different activities or belief systems, we as a community in this city, in this country, in the world we live in, we need each other. And so I'm looking to start a podcast, and have started a podcast that is going to hopefully reach to where people are in their context.
Hmm. This is a great idea. I'm really looking forward to that being a big success. In that we need each other,
Mhm.
and that often there's conflict, and because we don't understand each other, we don't agree with each other, but that doesn't mean there has to be conflict that, I guess I'd say, separates us.
That's right. I think we live in a world that oftentimes pushes us to isolation rather than to the community that we were created for. And a lot of times, if we are not in tune with other people, and we're more focused on the world around us, I think that because somebody doesn't believe the way I do, I may just not find them valuable to me any longer. And that's the wrong mindset. I need to look and see the community around me, humanity around me, that even though we may not have the right belief systems, we all live in the same world, and we can navigate this world together in a way that really provides for friendships that we need, and maybe not see eye to eye on every subject.
Folks, I'm Leon Thomas. You're watching an episode of New Biz Buzz. I'm here with Ryan Dupee. Ryan has a new podcast coming out called You Bother Me. You can go to the website youbotherme.org and learn more about it. And let's see, Ryan, I think you told me that the first episode drops tomorrow. Is that correct?
Yes, it drops tomorrow. It's April 1st, 2022. People were wondering whether or not it was a joke because it's on April Fool's Day. It is not a joke. There has been a lot of work that's gone into this. So, had friends that helped me with the website and been working through all of these different dynamics to do a podcast. So it is real, and we're super excited about it. And just to let the audience know, the main goal is to take real life situations by folks that are listening to just contact me so that I can actually help them work through it, and sometimes use those examples through the podcast so that they're able to um, I obviously not going to use their names, not going to use their geography, but I think a lot of people go through very similar situations that they're going to be working through. So I'm super excited to hear from people that are just like me, that have people problems and want to work through those.
Something interesting that you said is that as we're going through whatever the conflict is, it's so easy for us to think we're the only person going
Yeah,
through it, and no one else has ever gone
that's
through it at
right.
all, right? We're the first,
Yeah,
we're the only, and there's nowhere we can get help. There's no one we can talk to
yeah.
about it, and that's not really the case. And so, with your show, you're hoping that folks share some of those experiences, and you talk it through during your show. Is that what the idea is?
That is the idea. So the first show just it's called "We're All Crazy Cat People," and it's because our family is crazy cat people. The first episode has me just describing our four cats, and we committed to a relationship with those cats before we ever knew how they would treat us, and yet we've remained committed to them, and they all bring out these personalities that we have to navigate. And so, because of their demanding spirit, I start to correlate that in the first episode with how we deal with people, and how sometimes we actually act like some of those cats in our own relationships. And so I describe our four cats, and I know that there's so many more cats that I could describe that our listeners may own, or their favorite dog, or their pet. But our reality is we're getting to the place of saying, listen, at times we're all crazy cat people, and we're acting like this. So that is where we begin the journey together. And then the second episode is going to be really about how to solve and resolve the conflict in my own soul, with how when I listen to the voices that are inside of me, before I try to help my relationships on the exterior, am I working on the relationships on my interior? And that is the relationship. Some of the thoughts we have can be so destructive towards us, and we don't even need people to say that. So that's the second episode. And then I'm hoping to have enough communication with the listening audience so that we will be producing episodes that will be problems that are real life, real time, that I'll be able to walk through.
Yeah, all this is going to be great. I see it being big,
Mhm.
but also I see people being helped. All
Hey,
right, I
yeah,
see
yeah.
lives changing because of what you're doing. I'm really looking forward to it. And when you said we're all crazy cat people, right?
Yeah.
Now, let me tell you what I was thinking.
Hmm.
Okay, I have a friend who he's been married now for 30 years. But when he met his girlfriend at the time, when he started dating the lady that he eventually married, he goes on his first date and he said, "Hey, how did it go?" And he said, "Oh, this is great, except for one thing, one problem." I go, "What's the problem?" He says, "She has cats." Right? And so my mind went there. And I
Hmm.
go, "Okay, so she has cats." And he goes, "I'm not dealing with cats." And I go, "Why not?" And he says, "Because they're funny.
Mm.
They have different personalities."
Hmm.
Right? He said, "And I have to learn her. I don't have time to learn her and her cats." And so
Hmm.
that's where my mind went to way
Yeah.
back, nearly 30 years ago in thinking about that. But isn't it, it's very much the same when we look at a team environment,
Hmm.
in a work. Work culture. You're an assistant principal at a school. You have many personalities that you have to deal with, many ages that you're working with, teachers, other administrators, and we all have to learn how to deal with each other.
Exactly, exactly. And that is the stuff of life. If everybody was perfect, we wouldn't have to have a podcast like this, right? We wouldn't need self-help or guided tours of our own mindset sometimes. So I think this is something that's going to be incredibly valuable. In fact, I would say I know this is something that's going to be incredibly valuable to the listeners. And like I said, it's a journey, and we're not perfect. And that's, I think, part of the transparency of the You Bother Me podcast. It's about imperfect people who are seeking to dwell in unity with each other.
Great. Now, Ryan, how can our listeners find you? Where will your podcast be available?
So the podcast is we've already mentioned, going to drop tomorrow. I'm going to put it out on all of my social media platforms. It'll be on LinkedIn, it'll be on Facebook, and it'll be on Twitter. And also the main page is going to be youbotherme.org. And that is a website that's just dedicated to telling a little bit about myself, having the episodes there. So anybody that wants to listen to it can go to it and listen to it through um, uh, the links. And you'll see at the end, it's actually just a quip on, instead of contacting me, I put on there bother me. And there's a way for people to come and bother me and be able to just email. And there may be situations where they're just asking some advice, and I'll be able to help them before we ever get to a podcast. So
Hmm.
that's how people can contact me. I encourage them to subscribe. I hope that they do. My goal is to really stick around 15 to 20 minutes and not be a very long podcast. And so hopefully we'll be able to solve some conflict together.
Oh, this is great. Solving conflict, because let's face it, like you said, we need each other.
We do.
I'm Leon Thomas. That's Ryan Dupee. You're watching an episode of New Biz Buzz. We're talking about the You Bother Me podcast, which drops on April 1st. I'm looking forward to it being just a huge success to help folks. Ryan, in the 45 seconds or so that we have remaining, let's talk about some other things.
Great.
How are we doing on sports? Tell me, who's your baseball team and all of that noise. Go ahead. Let's find out how you're doing.
Well, I grew up in Northern Virginia, and I have to tell you, since I've lived in Florida for so long now, I have always been a Baltimore Orioles fan. So I do watch them. I'm always excited for the first 10 games of the season, and then then things go a little south from there. I married my wife from Alabama. So in college sports, we are Alabama Crimson Tide fans, and there's the Roll Tide for you. And then I used to watch the Washington Capitals play hockey when I was younger, but I'm telling you, the Tampa Bay Lightning are just incredible. And so we kind of transferred some of our sports love down here since we've lived here since 2008. So those are some of the realities of our sports world right now.
Okay, a Bama fans living in Florida. Good luck with that. Um, wow, that's good. And the Orioles, maybe this will be the year. I don't know. We'll have to see how that goes. It's great to have you here, Ryan. I'm looking forward to your show just being a great success. The You Bother Me podcast. For more information and to learn more about Ryan Dupee, you go to youbotherme.org. Ryan, it's great to have you with us. Thanks for being here. I'm Leon Thomas. You just watched an episode of New Biz Buzz with Ryan Dupee. Again, his podcast is the You Bother Me podcast. I'm Leon Thomas. Thanks for watching an episode of New Biz Buzz. Here we go.